All right. Welcome to another episode of geekoutdoors.com. And so, by the title, if you're familiar with that title, then you know what it's referring to. But this is the closest Jedi and Sith costume that I could come up with. And also, this is my lightsaber, the closest thing I could come up with. So, before I get this started, let me make sure that there's some latency, not any latency issues, because this is on the internet. So, whenever you live stream, sometimes definitely there could be latency, and there was latency in the last live stream. So let me check this real quick to make sure it works. So let me check this real quick to make sure it works. Let me check this real quick. Okay. Okay. So it looks like there's some latency. So I think what I'm gonna have to do is maybe turn this game off in the background because it's taking up a lot. Let me try it again. Let me make sure this latency isn't too bad. Okay. Okay. All right. And so it looks like there's definitely some latency. Even though I have it on ultra low latency, there's still issues with here, and I've even adjusted the bitrate as well. So if you're watching this later, if my voice doesn't pick up with my camera, then that's because there's latency issues. Okay. So what I'll probably do is I'm gonna go to the webcam. I hate to do that because the camera does have the best video quality, but there's just really bad latency issues here. So let me make sure my stream health is excellent. Okay. So anyway, as I'm doing this further and further, I'll get better at this. But as far as the latency, I have tried this on my other channel, and the latency wasn't as bad as it was here. So who knows? All right. Okay. So more than likely, we're gonna stick with this view with my camera, my webcam, and there's definitely less latency there because the webcam is not processing as much data, in terms of the quality, versus something like from my webcam where it is processing more. So I'm gonna put my game back up because it doesn't seem like it matters. And so if you're watching this later, then you'll notice that at least for my camera view, whenever I'm talking, my voice comes before the video. So even though I've set it to the lowest ultra low latency as possible on YouTube stream, and I've even adjusted my settings in OBS, for some reason on this channel, there's issues with it. So unfortunately, I'm gonna have to spend most of the video here in this mode, okay? So yeah, so if anybody joins the chat, please say hi. And I'm gonna be talking about some things today. As I stated earlier, if you are familiar with Star Wars, then you'll definitely be familiar with this quote, So this is from Star Wars Empire Strikes Back. And it is from a scene with Yoda and Luke Skywalker. And so this is the training scene where, Luke is trying to learn from Yoda, and he basically like gives up, he's like tired of failing. And Yoda tells him, do or do not, there is no try. And the reason I wanted to talk about that is because it is related to YouTube, being a creator, and just like doing stuff in general, because funny enough, I probably learned more life lessons from Star Wars than I'd have from any school. And so maybe also in a future episode, I'll figure out how to do the lightsaber effects. There's a way that you could make things glow on your videos. So maybe in the future, I'll learn how to do this in real time through OBS. But until then, let's go ahead and talk about this quote a little bit further, and why I feel it's important as a creator. And this quote says a lot, okay? So let's go ahead and go back to this quote where it says, do or do not, there is no try. So the first half of it is do or do not. And that's very, very simple. And it's simple, but it's really deep, believe it or not, in the way that the meaning behind this. So do or do not is basically you either do something or you don't. Either you take action or you do not. And then there is no try. This one can be interpreted in many ways, but at least my understanding of it is you're going to do something, but you definitely want to give it all that you can. You know, give it 110%. Basically, not just trying, actually putting yourself into this. You know. So we have a first person, Ki2Ne. Oh man, it's been a long time. Been a while, but yeah, in real life, yeah, stuff teaches you stuff, in practice, and school teaches theory. So thank you so much, Ki2Ne. Ki2Ne has been a long time viewer and supporter. I think he's been here in my channel since the beginning, like 5+ years ago. So I really, really want to appreciate for him coming in. And whenever I started live streaming, I'll talk about this a little bit more. He has been there since the beginning. So I really, really appreciate you coming on. And so, yeah, so that's kind of like the real simple explanation of that quote, you know. So like, if anybody else has any other thoughts on those meanings, let me know. Okay. And so now it's kind of getting hot, so I'm gonna have to take my Jedi or Sith hood off, and let me try to go back to my camera to see if things have improved, because that really bothers me that I've, you know, set all these settings and it still has lag, and I have pretty good internet connection. So let me check it again real quick. Kitsune. Oh, thank you, Ki2Ne. All these years I never asked. Oh, it's pronounced Kitsune. Awesome. Is that Japanese, or it's like a Japanese meaning? I'm not really sure. So let me see if it's changed anything in terms of the lag. Let me see if it's changed anything in terms of the lag. Yeah, it's still a problem. All right, so that sucks. I'm gonna have to like basically stick with this view, and I also have a web camera view as well, but I have a filter on right now, so you could probably see that. But if you go to my OBS tutorials, you'll see how I do that. So I'm gonna go ahead and go back to this. And so yeah, so let's go ahead and go back to the, you know, do or do not. There is no try. And so how is this related to this whole thing that we're doing here on YouTube? Well, quite simply, as you can tell, it's basically taking action. It is, okay, Kitsune say it's Japanese for fox, and it's part of the folklore for fox spirits. Awesome, man. That makes me think of Naruto. Yeah, that makes me think, yeah, the nine-tailed fox. So, so if you've been here on my channel for, I've been doing YouTube for more than, I think it's like 6 years now for Geek Outdoors, and actually the first YouTube video I uploaded was in 2013, so that's like 7 years total, but I really didn't start doing this whole Geek Outdoors thing until 2015. So it's been quite a while, you know, and at least for YouTube years, I think that's quite a long time. You know, I haven't been here like for 10 years or something, but that's a long amount of time to be doing something. And this whole principle of do or do not, there is no try, that's what I'm putting in practice here. Because if you see my channel, I've done over 1,000 videos on my channel. And so there's definitely a do part there. But it wasn't like that at the beginning. And let me show you my oldest video. So we'll go back to the oldest. Okay, so my first video that I uploaded on YouTube, at least on this channel, was 8 years ago. Wow, okay, so it's been longer than 7 years, I guess. So yeah, so let me see what the date is, because I don't know the exact date. I can't remember. So let me see. It's probably gonna, yeah, this is when my channel was called Retro Super Geek. You know, it's retro gaming. That's all I did back then. So let me see. I uploaded this on October 21st, 2013. So yeah, wow. I didn't know it was 8 years. So it's been a long time. So since then, I have obviously uploaded many videos after that. But initially, this was really difficult for me because I've never done anything like this. And at the same time, you know, as with anything, you're doing this for the first time, it was pretty scary, you know. So I made a lot of mistakes. And the first few videos that I did were all gaming videos. And then I did a book review. And so I'm kind of going through this right now, trying to remember some of this. You know, I can't believe I've been doing YouTube this long. I did a phone review, my Chromecast for my HTC One. I still have that phone. I love that phone. And then I even tried my first Linux video, why I don't use Windows or Mac. And so obviously I was experimenting with a lot of things but the first one was just the whole gaming thing. And then I stopped making videos after like my 35th video of Super Retro Geek. As you can see, nobody was watching these videos, you know, like 7 years ago, 9 views, you know. So yeah, definitely not huge fast growth. And then like now it's 6 years ago, I did my first Geek Outdoors video. And this is where the do or do not principle really came in, because I really was nervous about doing this. I wasn't sure. And as I remember, one day I was at the beach and I did think about names and stuff, you know, but I wasn't even 100% sure whether or not I was going to do this because I didn't know, you know. I've never shown my face on front of any of my videos, because all the videos before this, I didn't show my face for a number of reasons. You know, I've really, you know, being scared, let's be honest with you, being scared about putting yourself out there, you know. And if you've never done anything on the internet, especially showing your face out into the world with a bunch of strangers, there's a lot of things going through your head. You know, you don't know what people are going to think. You don't know what type of people are watching your videos. You don't know, like, maybe other people who are watching videos that you know, what they might think. And most importantly, you don't know what you're going to think about yourself. And so all of those things were going through my head, you know, and it's a scary thing, you know. So whenever I did do that first video, I decided to do the do or do not principle. I decided to do, you know, and on that time, funny enough, the first episode I did was about Star Wars. So let me open this up. Yeah, so my first video I did was about Star Wars The Force Awakens. So 6 years ago, Star Wars The Force Awakens came out. That's so funny. I didn't even know that. I didn't plan that. I don't remember doing that. So it was about Star Wars. And funny enough, I'm talking about Star Wars now. And so what I happened to do here in this video was I was out on the beach. You know, that's where I lived at that time. I was at the beach almost every single day. And I decided to just turn my phone around, and I decided to do and record my first video. Now, I was absolutely terrified. I was really, really scared of doing that. So let me change something real quick, because I did wanted to do the camera view, but unfortunately the lag from my main camera is just not great. So let me change something really quick, and while I'm continually talking about this. And so yeah, so it was definitely not an easy thing for me, and I didn't know what was going to happen because of it. And so as you could probably tell, my view looks different, but I'm going to go ahead and go over to my webcam view really quick. So, yep, that doesn't look quite right. Let me adjust this. So I'm going to make this full screen. Let me see. I probably can't do it right now. Let me see if I could change it. Okay. And all right. And so if you are watching this, you're seeing this in real time. Okay, so this is what happens whenever you're doing things live. And let me scale it a little bit more. Yeah, so it has a closer view. Okay, and okay, so there it is. All right. And so I'm going to be going back and forth between this and my web camera in case I want to do camera view, because with my webcam, as far as I could tell, there is no lag. So let me do one more test to make sure that's correct. There's no lag. Yep. So let me do one more test. All right, great. So at least with my webcam, I don't have the same type of lag that I do with my camera. And so if I ever need to go over to my web camera, I'm going to be using my camera view. I'm going to be going over to my web camera instead of my favorite camera, which is my G85. This is definitely the higher quality, but it has lag. So let's go back to this. All right, and I'm going to move this a little bit. All right, so hopefully you can see that. All right. And so, yeah, so this was my first video. And whenever I finished doing the video of this, I still wasn't sure if I was going to upload it. Okay. Once again, wasn't sure, didn't know what's going to happen. But after I uploaded it, I felt like a sigh of relief, but I was also absolutely terrified of the response. You know, obviously it didn't get many views. There's still not many views here, you know, if you see here. But it was the first step. It was the do principle. And because of that, I decided to try other videos. And actually, I did another video the same day after doing this one, but I didn't know whether or not I was going to post it. Okay, so all of these videos that I did, you know, a lot of times I still was unsure whether or not I was going to post it. And there's the second video that I actually did on the same day. So I kind of thought, okay, I did one video, let me try another one, you know. And like I said, I was next to the beach, so I was always outside on the beach anyway. So I decided to go ahead and do another video right here. And I wasn't really sure, once again, whether or not I was going to post it. But I thought, well, if I already did this video, let's go ahead and make another one. And once again, after I posted these videos, yeah, it was a sigh of relief, but also there was terror as well. And so, yeah, as you can see, many more videos after that. I just kept doing and doing and doing, you know, and whenever I thought like maybe I should not do this, you know, the whole do not stuff, I decided to make another video. So that was kind of like my approach. And honestly, that's still my approach to this day. But obviously, I have a lot more experience now doing all of this. And so let me go back here to my camera. And so the reason why I share a lot of these things, as you've probably seen on many videos, and especially on my live streams, because I could actually talk about this on the fly, is because, you know, if you've ever started this YouTube thing, right, you probably like felt the same way, you know, or maybe it was even worse than me, or maybe it was even easier than me. But whenever I talk about these things, it's because I've been through it, you know. I understand like what most of you are going through whenever you're doing this. And, you know, it's not easy, you know, as some people might make it feel like it's really easy. It's not. For some people, it might be. But at least for me, it's the whole unknown. And then just constantly thinking to yourself, should I do this or should I not do this? Okay. And so this is a thing that's still constant with me today. But now things are a little bit different in terms of like how I view things. Okay. So I'm going to be going over that here a little bit further. And so let's go ahead and go back to the channel. And I'm going to talk about the whole do not in terms of like kind of where I progress over the years. Okay. And so if I go here to my playlist, this is when I took the do not principle even further. So if you actually go to my playlist on my channel, I have a lot of different playlists. And with each one of these playlists, I have multiple videos. Okay, so yeah, I have like 73 videos here, 36 for my Caden Live. Yeah, my Linux videos, let me see, there was no OBS, 58 videos, replace Windows or Mac with Linux. And then my main Linux video, I had a lot of videos in there. And then my YouTube journey, I currently have 373 videos, as you could probably see there. Yeah, and YouTube Live, yeah, here's what I want to talk about here, because this is actually what I'm doing now. And it kind of goes perfectly into this whole do or do not principle, and also try, okay? Because there's definitely something there. Oh, Anthony Clive, thank you for joining again. Hello, I'm editing a quick video and awesome. So Kitsune is saying it really isn't easy for sure. Content creation is difficult enough in producing content. And then there's the viewer's response. Absolutely, Kitsune. And as I'm talking through this, you know, normally whenever I have my live streams in the past, if people come in the chat, I'll usually go into the chat and talk about it if I could see the comment. But also at the same time, sometimes I like to talk about everything I need to, then go into the comments. And so, yeah, so as you're coming in, if I don't like answer your questions right away, that's why. And so, yeah, the viewer response, it's really hard, you know, and I have talked about this in the past, and I might talk about this more in the future. But just imagine like you in the real world, right? When people say something about you, you know, at least in the real world, it's normally people you could see, or there's like some people, okay? Like there's like a number of people, but there's not like thousands potentially, or potentially millions of people. And there's over 7 billion people in the world. YouTube gets over, you know, 2 billion active users a month. And so that is definitely a different feeling, you know, having viewers responses. And so let's talk about that a little bit more, because I think that's really important for for us as creators and just as people to talk about. And thanks, Kitsune, for bringing that up, because this is something that I have talked about, but I want to bring this a little bit further into it. And so whenever you do put out your first video or your first few videos, and you get those first views, especially the first subscribers, and then later the first comments, that's a feeling that it's really, really hard to explain, but because you decided to do, and instead of do not, this is what you get from it. But then you also get other things from it. And this is later on, okay? Later when your channel starts growing, you get more views, you get more subscribers, and then you start getting people who don't really like what you're creating, okay? Maybe it starts off with like, oh, this sound could have been higher, or maybe you should have talked about something. Oh, I don't really agree with that. And that's normal, you're like, oh, okay, there's some people watching it, they might not agree or like everything. But then over time, and this is something that will happen to everyone who is doing stuff on the internet, whether it's YouTube or any other platform, the same thing's gonna happen to you. And then you're gonna get the haters and the trolls. People who really, really do not like whatever you're doing, and they don't like you, and more than likely they don't like themselves, okay? So there's a lot of psychology there, but we've all experienced this in the real world. You have people who don't like you. That's the real world. There's gonna have people who like you and people who don't like you. But whenever you're on the internet, it's on a whole nother level, because you don't know these people. You don't know what they're thinking. You don't know where they're at. You don't know what their state of mind is. You have no idea what they're thinking and why they're doing this, but yet the people are knowing more about you. You're putting yourself out there. You're putting your face out there. You're putting your personality, who you are, who you think, and you might not put everything out there, but the fact of the matter is you're putting yourself out there. And whenever this first happens, when you get these viewer responses, it goes from really high to really, really low. And this is really the hard part, because in real life, when you're dealing with this, that's hard enough. But whenever you're doing this on the internet with potentially thousands, and then as your channel grows, millions and billions of people, it's pretty much impossible for you to ignore those things. As much as you hear a lot of creators say, just ignore the haters and trolls, you can up to a certain extent. And you could do this in the real world as well. But at least in the real world, when you have haters and trolls, it's normally not hundreds or thousands of people. It's probably only like, a handful of people that hate you. Okay. But out here, wow, it's crazy, and then, over the years, with the amount of comments that I've got, and thankfully I've had like 99% positive comments. So I want to thank all of you people for supporting this channel, watching the channel, helping people like myself who started just really feel like, this is a good thing. You're actually doing good, or you're having a positive effect on people, and people realize that. Okay. So that's a good thing. And then on the other end, you also have people who are completely negative with everything. Doesn't matter what content you do, doesn't matter what you say or do, they're always going to be negative. They're going to hate on you. And funny enough, they're probably your biggest fans besides your biggest fans. Okay, they're biggest fans two ways, because the ones who support, love what you do, they're going to be there to support you and be there in line. And I would say they're like the best people. They're awesome. And then your haters, even though you don't like what they do, you actually hate what they do as well, they also help you in a different way, okay? Number one, they're spending a lot of their time hating on you. So it's kind of funny how the haters and trolls will spend more time watching your stuff, commenting on your channel, and just to let you know, for all the haters and trolls out there, you're helping us. Whenever you're hating on your channel, you're spending all your precious time hating on this. You're actually improving the channel by having interaction, engagement, algorithm. And at the same time, you're wasting your time on somebody you hate. Okay, so I just thought I'd put that out there. But there's also a positive to that. So biggest things, the supporters, the people who love your content, who give you constructive criticism, I would say those are the people you want to keep around for the longest. I have the biggest respect for all of people who do that. Kitsune, he's a perfect example, or she's a perfect example, but they've been out here since the beginning, and even though we don't agree with everything, I love the fact that there is supportive, constructive criticism, lots of ideas, and most importantly, motivation and support. And then for the haters and trolls, what they taught me there was that they taught you how, you heard this before, how to have a thicker skin, but they also teach you more about yourself. Because if you're not able to go through the highs and the lows, then maybe this might not be for you, and maybe you might decide to do something else. But regardless of what you do, you're always going to have people who like you, support you, and give you constructive criticism, but you're always going to have people who don't like you and hate you. And whenever you're on the internet, it just magnifies that many, many times over, okay? And so Kitsune is saying, oh, it definitely hits hard online because it's a smaller world when anyone can look up anything with a click. Absolutely, Kitsune. And I haven't talked about this on this channel, but your personal privacy, that's something that's really big, okay? And it's really up to you to decide what you want to do. But I will always take that approach that your personal privacy, it's very easy. It's even easier for people to get into whenever you put yourself out online. So I just want to put that out there for, people who, especially now in this generation, people put everything out there on the internet. And my personal feeling is, I would say, think about what you're putting out there. And at the same time, when it's on the internet, it's basically on there forever. And Anthony Clive saying negative Andes. Yep. So hopefully this part of this segment talking about this is important. And so this also comes with whenever you decide to do something, in this case, just know that you're going to get both positive and negative with it. Okay. And so I can't tell you how to prepare for this. Just know that it's coming. Okay. And it will continue to come as long as you decide to put yourself out there. And even if you decide to do not afterwards, this stuff is on the internet, okay? So maybe you could delete your videos or whatever, but it's on the internet somewhere, okay? So hopefully that portion of it did help somebody, but it's something that I definitely do want to talk about more because I think having, emotional, mental health, all those things are important, especially when you're out here on the internet. It's even more important because of the fact that you're going to have to deal with so many different things, all right? And so going back here, so for this one, this is the do principle that I'm actually doing right now, which is doing live streams. Now, I have done live streams before. Actually, 4 years ago, I did live streams, okay, with over 70 something videos that I did for live streams. Okay, so I have been doing live streams in the past. And let me see, my first live stream was this one right here on July 15th, 2017. And if you notice, my format hasn't really changed much. Okay, so July 15, 2017, I talked about how Linux changed my life. And guess what I have on the background? A video game, Samurai Showdown, and then my computer. So in this case, I do have a video game in the background, as you might have seen. Let me show you real quick, even though there will be some lag. And so just like I did with my first live stream, I do have a video game, and this video game is Star Wars Pod Racer made by Sega. Man, I hate this lag on there, but let's go back to the other one. And then obviously I have my monitor in front of me. So things, even though they've changed, they're still the same. And so after I did that live stream, that was the first one. And obviously I did way more live streams. And at the time I was like, okay, let's go ahead and do some more. So I kept doing live streams, and most of the live streams were just basically geeky stuff, and I decided to have a schedule as well. So every Saturday I did a live stream, and people like Kitsune was there, and many other people, some of whom are still here, which I'm absolutely amazed by. But I kept doing live streams, and even though they didn't perform well, it actually gave me a lot of, first, it gave me experience because even though I'm not an expert at it, I've done live streams before. So whenever you're doing live streams, it's a new set of skills because here you're talking to people live, okay? You actually have to interact with people if they come on your chat. You actually have to adapt to things. And so this not only helps you in the whole world of YouTube and live stream, but it'll also help you in the real world as well, okay? Because now what you're learning about here, whenever you did this live stream, at least what I learned, is the fact that I learned how to get better at talking in public, public speaking. People go to school to learn how to do public speaking, or they actually go into a job where they learn how to do this. In this case, you're learning it in real time, live, with people potentially all around the world. And so because I did all these live streams, even though from a YouTube standpoint, they weren't successful, my ability to speak, my ability to communicate, and my ability to think on the fly improved dramatically. Okay. And so that is a huge benefit of me doing a live stream, doing tons of them, and then the benefits that I got out of it, even though I didn't see that before. Okay, so hey, Gerald Craig. Oh man, great to see you, man. How's the UK? Awesome. And so Gerald Craig is another person who's been here for a long time. Thank you so much, Gerald, for being here. So he's one of those very much like Kitsune, long-time supporter, subscriber, but at the same time, he actually gives a lot of constructive feedback, like things that, didn't work much as well, and then things that could be improved. And Kitsune has left a lot of those. So I really do appreciate you being here. So Kitsune is saying, speaking of which, how's your Linux PC holding up? I know you're not talking about it more, but it feels refreshing seeing points of views from the non-pro, non-enthusiast perspective. Yeah, I still use the same exact Linux PC. It's actually had an upgrade. I upgraded my RAM and I upgraded my storage, but it is still the same Linux PC that I built back in 2016. So it's pretty awesome. Actually, I love it. And obviously I do run Windows on this as well. So I dual boot on it. So yeah, Kitsune, it still works great. But I'm starting to see, problems whenever I want to do things like, 4K editing, more complex projects, and even live streaming. Because if I had a more powerful machine, and more importantly, if I had a more powerful GPU, I could actually get better live streams because my CPU wouldn't have to do all the processing. And at the same time, I could also record my live streams without any performance issues. And so, yep, still using my Linux PC. Anthony saying same old you, yeah. And, Anthony, I just want to say thank you for being part of this. I've seen you here in the chats and here on the live stream. So the live stream's awesome. So Gerald saying, hey, go, LOL, it's taking me a while to realize you're live. Thanks, Gerald. Yeah, I don't really plan these things, Gerald, as you know, and I don't really do much live streams at all. So that's kind of why I'm making this video to talk about it, okay? So Kitsune is saying, yep, live streams and mock trial definitely would help then. Yeah, it's talking about public speaking and stuff. So if you ever want to, if you want to improve your speaking and communication skills, you don't really have to spend thousands of dollars to go to college to do that. Just go ahead and go to YouTube, create a YouTube channel, and then do a live stream. And then see what happens, So yeah, my PC got blue screen. Yeah, Anthony, I guess you're on Windows, but that's okay. I still use Windows as well. So no big deal there. So let's go ahead and go back to this, all right? And so, yeah, so I kept doing live streams and I kept getting better in terms of just speaking, okay? Even though I'm not speaking to people in front of me, what happened was, and what you'll notice is whenever you decide to do stuff like YouTube, doing video, putting yourself out there in front of a camera, communicating with people, what you're probably going to realize is that out in the real world, you start communicating differently with people. So nowadays, whenever I, talk to people out in the real world, it's a lot easier for me. I still am an introvert. I'm a big introvert myself. So a lot of times I don't like to be around too many people. However, if I have to be around people or I decide to be around people and I have to talk or communicate with them, even if they're strangers, because I've done this so much, it's not as difficult as it used to be. Before, I just was not really that great at communicating with people, especially when it comes to brand new people, okay? And I did work on those many years, okay, even before YouTube. So my communication has definitely gotten better over the years, but because of YouTube, it's gotten even better, and it will continually get better because YouTube teaches you so many things. And whenever you're doing your live streams, you have to take all those skills in at once. So if you actually watch my old live streams, maybe you'll see this, but my old live streams, I did a lot of stuttering, I had a lot of ums, and all those things, the same things that you would experience out in the real world when you're going through this. But in this case, I still have those, but I don't have as many of them, which is awesome. Okay, so see, I just did it right there. Okay, so Kitsune says, same here. You definitely have some influence on me starting occasional live streams. Go awesome, Kitsune, awesome. So as you can see here, I did a whole bunch of different live streams on all types of basically random stuff that I thought were fun to talk about. But unfortunately, from a YouTube standpoint, they never did that well. So Jared says, I speak better than you. Yep, absolutely. I was studying. Okay. So yeah, so after I kept doing these live streams and I wasn't getting the type of results, just people, not many people are on the live streams, and there's not many people now, but I'm always thankful for the people who do join the live stream. And back then, they didn't get very many views. And my channel in general doesn't get that many views, but I decided to do and try again. So this time, I'm trying the live streams again from a different perspective. In this case, my perspective with doing live streams now is more to connect with the community and the people that I have here. So if you have seen my other videos, I am changing my focus and I'm constantly changing things on my channel. But most of my content and what I'm doing, I want it to be more on what is valuable, okay? What is valuable for the community, the subscribers, the supporters, and even the haters and trolls that actually come to my channel. Because at the end of the day, you come to people's YouTube channel or whatever they're creating because you're getting some type of value out of it. And obviously if you have been on my channel for a while, then most of my content is related to education. Most of my content is educational content, and it's something that I'm constantly, learning and tweaking on. But the main reason why I wanted to do the live streams again is because I wanted to not only try it again, but more importantly, I wanted to connect more with the community and the people who come and spend time, their valuable time watching my content now. So that's the main reason why I'm doing this. Which leads me to the second part of that quote, do or do not, there is no try. So the try part, this is where, it kind of gets, I would say, different, okay? It changes, because it depends on what your situation is, and it depends on your idea of what trying is, okay? And so try, from what I understand from the Star Wars quote, is basically give it your all, commit to it, okay? So in this case, whenever I decided to do live streams and I did 70 something plus videos, that was my idea of trying, basically being committed to it, doing more than just one video. Now, in this case, it might be different for you. Maybe if you're trying something, you might only do a few times, all right? Maybe even one time for some people. And there's definitely nothing wrong with that. Say, for example, you try to eat a new food because you've never tried it before, and then you got sick. You're probably not going to try that again, okay? Or maybe you have food allergies, all right? So very bad things. So you might not try it again. But at least in the world of, I would say, YouTube, if you're going to try something, I would highly recommend that you try it more than one time. Okay, now, is there a magical number, how many times you try? No, but at least from my point of view and my own experience, do it more than once, because doing it one time, you really don't know. It's only one time trying it. But whenever you try 2, 3, 4, 5, more than 10 times, you'll kind of have a good idea of the results you're going to get, how people are going to respond, and more importantly, whether or not you still want to keep doing this. Because at least for me, after doing 70 plus, YouTube live streams, I came to the conclusion that number one, I wasn't getting the results that I had wanted. And then number two, more importantly, I didn't really enjoy doing them as much, and who knows, I might not do many more live streams after this, like I did in the past. But in this case, I'm trying it again, and my focus is different. I really want to focus on creating live streams and content that actually will help the people who actually come to my channel. And at the same time, at least right now, my plan is to do live streams for a month. Okay, so I'm going to do a live stream every single week, and I'm going to try to make sure the subject is on things that will help the community, okay, instead of just random stuff that I like. Okay, and so and if you did have any feedback on it, obviously I always do appreciate that. So that's my goal with that. And so after the live streams, I decided to take a break from them. After this first one, after my 74th one. I did have a good time. I mean, not to say that I didn't, but it just didn't work out for me. And the thing I want to say with that is it's okay. And it's a good thing, because if you decided first to do and then you decided to try, i.e. commit, then you've given it everything that you can. And now you know. Whereas if you decided to do not, you would never have known. Okay? And this kind of principle goes into pretty much everything in your life. And so if I decided not to try YouTube, then I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be doing a lot of what I'm doing now. I wouldn't be working on the internet, which was one of my dreams. I wouldn't be able to, meet. In some cases, I have met these people in real life or have communicated with them. I would have never met any of these people here. And then the other things that I wouldn't have is, and this is just maybe being me thinking about the content that I created. I really feel that most of the content I created, it has helped people. So I would have never seen the impact of these things that I had in my head if I decided not to do this. And after so many hundreds and thousands of comments, so many people have really appreciated and thanked me for the content I created, and it's helped them. And that's my whole goal with this channel and the content. I want to create something in the end that will help somebody else. Somebody else maybe like me who is trying to figure things out, didn't know how to do things, or maybe just somebody would just run into this channel and they saw something in it that I didn't see or intended. Because the same thing happened to me, as I've talked about in other videos. Whenever I decided to go do this internet thing, people that I didn't know created content that impacted my entire life and continues to impact me in a very positive way. So that's all because I decided to do instead of do not. And now we're going to continue with this try principle, because let's talk about maybe what's a good number of videos to create. Okay, now this is just my own opinion, okay, but also through experience. So in my opinion, if I had to put a number to it, I would recommend that you do 10 videos. Okay, because 10 videos will give you a fairly good idea of whether an idea that you had is working or not. Now, if you want to go further and you see like, okay, this stuff looks like it's working, then I recommend that you do a playlist of videos. Okay, and let me show you what I have on mine. And you'll notice that a lot of these things, there's like a pattern to it. And there's a reason why. It's because it's worked for me. Okay, and so if I go here to my playlist down here, like most of my playlists that have videos that people watch, they have more than 30 plus videos. And that's because what I found out is if you have something that works or that works for you and you wanted to create more content, if you have 30 or more videos, not only will it give you a really good idea that this has worked, because obviously people are watching it, but more often than not, if these things are working, they'll continue to work for many, many years to come. And when you have like 30 or more videos, that's a lot of content for people to watch, which is awesome, because that's actually what you want in the end. You want to provide something that not only people find valuable, they'll learn something from, but it helps you. It obviously helps your channel. It helps growth. And if you're deciding to do this for, business, to make money out of it, it helps you make more money, and it'll continue to help you in the long run. And obviously, if you are able to make money from YouTube, then you could spend more time creating more valuable content. Okay, so helping more of the people who come to your channel. So those are like some real world benefits of doing these things. Okay, and so if I actually go here and let me show you things that I would not know if I didn't try this. So let's go ahead and go back here. All right, I'm gonna go here to my channel and we'll go to videos, and then I'm gonna sort by most popular. Okay, so you can see that, right? So because I decided to do basically try, I did the do and the try method for my open shot tutorials. And so when I started, I made a few videos, then I made more than 10 videos, and then I saw that people were watching it, so I decided to keep making videos. And now, these same videos, I have 200,000 views on this one. This one's 153,000 views, and I have more of these. Just has a lot of views for my channel. And even then, if you actually go to YouTube, right? and this is years later, and I typed in OpenShot, you know, more than likely you might see my videos, okay? And so go here. So there's my video. I have another video here. You see that? So you could try this yourself, you know, and obviously these things might change over time, but more often than not, if you type in OpenShot or OpenShot tutorial, you'll normally see one of my videos. If they're not in the top 10, before they were always in the top 10, you might see them on the first page. Okay, so that is a real world benefit of doing, because it's helped me in so many ways. It continues to bring in new people and also help people who want to learn about OpenShot, but it's also helped me continually grow my channel. Okay, but I wouldn't have known those things if I didn't do and try those. And then this OpenShot actually led me to other video editing tutorials. It led me to my Caden Live tutorials. It led me to my Shotcut and DaVinci Resolve tutorials, which I just started in 2020. So it all led to these things, which is absolutely amazing. And those things are the ones that I tried. You know, I actually put in more effort. I committed to it for the long term, and I still continually do it as well. Okay, so going back to my original thoughts on how many that you should create, I would say try to do 10 videos if you can. Okay, that'll give you a good idea of whether or not your idea is something that you should pursue further. And if you do decide to make even more videos, then I would say for most videos that I've seen that I've done myself, if I have around 30 videos, that is a lot of videos to create in this one specific topic. You know, like the amount of videos that I have on my channel, my playlist, is probably more than some YouTube channels' entire video. And as you see, over time, these videos continually help my channel. And in the future, as my channel keeps growing and growing, these are going to be even more helpful, because by that point these videos would have been around a long time. They rank, and so basically they're harder for other people to outrank me. And since I have so many videos in this subject or this playlist, well, if somebody wants to compete with you on your channel on the same exact topics, then they're gonna have to make a lot of videos, okay? And they're gonna have to make videos that are better than your videos. So for some people, they might get lucky and the YouTube algorithm might make their channel blow up. But at the end of the day, for the way I do things, I don't like to depend on luck. I like to depend on doing, trying things, and then with the things that work, I make more of it, and then I consistently improve. And so my channel is all about long-term growth, okay? For whatever I do, it's long-term. And the proof is in the fact that all these things that I did many years ago, they're still, you know, paying off today, and they'll continue to pay off. So that's why I really recommend that if you are going to do and try something, you know, just kind of take that approach. It is a long-term thing. And if the YouTube algorithm happens to push your content and just gives you a, you know, a large explosion of content, you know, I'm sorry, a large explosion to your channel, meaning like your channel grows fast, then if you have a lot of content, and especially content that you know works, then that means people are going to have more content that they can watch, okay? Because I've seen many times where a channel will go viral, but they don't have a lot of content. And so those people came for like one or a few videos, but then there's not any more videos that they like, okay? So that's just a little tip out there, all right? And so let me see, let me go back to the chat. So, okay, so Anthony says, I was studying to death. Yeah, Gerald says, ad lib, yeah, it'll come natural. Yeah, it does over time. It forces you to. And Anthony says, I'll be watching the stream on TV because I want to get my project done. I'll hop back and chat if I can. If I can't, I highly appreciate the advice you've been provided for us viewers. Thank you so much, Anthony. And good luck on your project, even though I said I don't like to depend on luck. I know it'll go really well. So Gerald's asking, I keep forgetting, are you still doing your walking? Yeah, Gerald, I'm basically outside practically every single day. You know, for people who are brand new to my channel, they might be wondering why my channel name is Geek Outdoors, because, well, most of the times I'm outdoors. You know, if you watch my older videos, I'm outside almost every single video. I love walking. That's probably one of my favorite things to do. It's free. It's great for your health, and I just love being out in nature. And so, yep. So Kitsuna says, definitely not. It took me a while to learn how to use Linux, and even now with the new stuff, I have to catch up. They're definitely not as in getting things right the first try. Yep, that's right, Kitsune. And what he's talking about there is whenever you try something, you might not get it right the first time. Most people don't. So that's why it's important that if you are going to do these things and you want to try, do it more than once. And if you've never done it before, it's not uncommon for people to make mistakes or not learn stuff, because obviously if you haven't done enough, you're not going to learn anything. Okay, you need to get more experience. Hey, my Sea Prince. Hey, Mark, thanks for joining. Hi, just found notification. Yeah. So Jared says, LOL, you forced me to save up and buy a laptop good enough to install Resolve. Jared, I know you've been following my tutorial videos for years, but I always say, like, use what works best for you. If you having your old laptop, from 1990, like mine, I have old laptops, or, a computer that still runs, and it runs the video editor that works for you and, whatever you want to create, then no need to upgrade, And I take that back about a 1990 laptop, because I have one from 1990 something. Yeah, it doesn't work. I can't even browse the internet on it. Okay, so hopefully the do or do not, there is no try principle. Hopefully me talking about this and sharing some of my experiences will help you as well. So if you are a brand new creator, okay, or maybe you're thinking about doing this, and this doesn't just apply to YouTube, just kind of with anything, I would say, just try to do it first. And I think that's the most important thing. Okay, so the try part, it is important for the long term, but I really think the most important thing is the do or do not. So you either take action or you do not. And so what I've learned is whenever I did not take action, well, I never got anything out of it because I never did anything. So you probably heard this before, where if you are scared of doing something or fearful or whatever the case might be, and you decided to do not, well, you've already failed before you even began. Okay, so you would never know what would happen if you did it because you decided not to. Okay, and I'm not saying this applies to everything. Okay, like for example, I'm not gonna jump off a building. Okay, I'm not saying that. For things that are gonna be important to you that you've been thinking about and you want to decide do or do not, I would say do. Okay, do like practically 99.9% of the times. If it's something that you really wanted to do, you've been thinking about it over and over, well, that means you need to do it. Because whenever you do it, now you know. Now you know whether or not, if this is something you want to continue trying, something you want to commit to. And most importantly, whenever you decide to do, the things that happen, okay, the things that happen to you afterwards is mind-blowing. Okay, so if I did not decide to do these things, I wouldn't be here, and so that's something that I could never say if I decided to stick on the do not mindset. So that's really the main point that I wanted to put out here in this video is if there's something that you feel is really important that you've been thinking about, especially if you've been thinking about this for years and years, then just do it. Do it. And then if you like it, try more of it. And then the things that you learn out of it is going to be so valuable because in this case, you're no longer wondering because all the things that I have thought about and I did not do, I still think about today, and so a lot of these things I'm doing now, but if I would have did that back then when I thought about it for so long, I would probably be in a way better spot and I would have known whether or not it would have worked for me, so definitely want to put that out there. So those are the main things that I want to talk about here on today's video. So let me go to the chat. And, in this case, this second half of this video, if you had any other questions, we'll just do like some random Q&A because the main things that I want to talk about, I think I talked a lot about it. And so hopefully you got something out of that. And so I'll keep this stream open for a little bit longer since it is the weekend. So for most people, are available to go through these fun chats, I guess. So let me see. Okay, so Kitsune says, to be honest, my first impression of the channel name was you talking about using tech outdoors or about outdoors gear. Yeah, Kitsune. I had another person say that, but I haven't had too many people say that, you know. And a lot of times, like if you're brand new to my channel, you might think that this as well. But as you watch my channel, especially some of my latest videos where I talk about why it's named the Geek Outdoors, is because I'm a geek and I love being outdoors, you know. And so I've told this story many times before, but I used to work in corporations and I was inside all the time. And I hated that. And I always wanted to be outdoors. And obviously, I'm a geek. So that's why I'm the geek outdoors. But, you know, if you do like tech and stuff like that, well, I do talk about tech on my channel. So I have a whole playlist talking about tech. It's the Geek Gear Reviews playlist. So you could actually go to that as well. So since I have some people on here, let me know if you still see some lag from my voice to the video. So I'm going to change the camera. And so I would like to know from you, if you're watching this, which one has more lag. I'm pretty sure if you're watching it from the camera, you'll see a lag in my voice over to the video. So in this case, my voice should actually come first before my video, which is definitely not what I want because it's not in sync. And then let's go ahead and compare that to the webcam. So if you are seeing lag with this camera, let me know. Okay, I already have it at the lowest latency setting, and I even lowered my bitrate on OBS, but I'm still having issues. And then we'll go back to my web camera. So with my web camera, there should be little to no lag as far as I'm seeing in my preview and the odor test that I did in the beginning of the video. So please let me know if you're on the chat which one has more lag, or maybe you'll see no lag. At least for me, I see lag with my camera, but I don't see lag with my webcam. Okay, there it is. Yep. Okay, thanks, Kitsune. The side camera is not sync. Okay, so there is lag. So this one has lag with the voice and the video, and then web camera, no lag. Okay, web, okay, great. So in future video, I'll probably do a video talking about how to do OBS live streams, and hopefully by that point I would have figured this out, because I did do previous live stream using this camera on my first live stream for 2000. I did it for the 2021 wrap up, and there wasn't lag on the camera. Okay, and I also did another one on my gaming channel, and I don't think there was lag on the camera as well. But whenever I did it here, there's definitely lag on my side camera, my Panasonic G85, but not on my webcam. And I understand why, the quality differences. But anyway, I'll try to improve that. So thank you so much for leaving your comments on that, because that really helps me. So let me see. My Sea Prince is saying, I have a couple of older laptops, Windows Me and XP, great for older games. Yeah, me too. I still have them. And I did a video a while back showing some of my older laptops. I have an old Dell D580 laptop. It's a really old laptop. They still kind of work, but yeah, playing older games, you're right. They'll still work. Yeah, my Sea Princess, I saw a video ages ago about fixing lag. Yeah, my Sea Prince, I did see those as well, and I did implement those changes here. But as I stated a little bit earlier, it was really weird. Whenever I did my first live stream on this, my latest live stream before this one, it worked without lag with my camera. And then when I did my live stream on my gaming channel, I did a test as well before I did the live stream, and I didn't have lag. But anyway, I will make a video on OBS live streaming in the future once I figure this out, and because obviously if people are watching this, they might be interested on how to do live streams using OBS. But there are a lot of great videos on YouTube as well, but everybody's situation is going to be a little bit different, especially when it comes to your internet connection. Okay, so let me see if has anybody else had any other questions, before I end this live stream, because I didn't really have any more thoughts on the do or do not. There is no try. I just thought it was something that, just thought about it. I was thinking about Star Wars, and then I was thinking about like trying out these live streams again. And that's how this whole thing came up. So Kitsune says, that's how I still have a T3 T43. It plays some old games well, but good luck trying to use a browser on it. That's right. Oh man, it's so crazy how how much power, how much memory your internet browser takes. I'm really surprised. Like I have 32 gigs of RAM on my computer, and even now my browsers take up the most amount of RAM. So let me see. So right now, okay, right now I have plenty of RAM left. I'm using 6.7 gigs, but most of the times my browsers take up like 80% of all my RAM. And my CPU, it only really works hard whenever I'm doing video editing or whenever I'm playing video games. So whenever I do an upgrade on this computer, I'm definitely going to be upgrading. I'll probably upgrade most of the computer. Okay, I'm not going to replace everything. So I'm basically going to replace the CPU and the GPU. Those are like the big things that I'm replacing. But in terms of my RAM and my storage, I have SSDs. I also have a mechanical drive for long-term storage. But I think all of those things are good. And also, I'm going to have to replace my motherboard as well. But I have an ATX case, so I'll be able to use the same case. And my brother was actually the one who actually got me this whole setup. Okay, so I want to thank my brother on that. And so Gerald, he's asking laptops, Ryzen or Intel. Well, Gerald, my laptop's really old, but if I had to buy a new one, at least for now, I really enjoy the Ryzen processors. I know Intel has released some new ones as well, but I think for most people, they're going to get more bang for their buck with Ryzen. I know the prices have increased, but there's a lot of things that AMD does, in my opinion, that still makes it more flexible. In terms of like, if you're buying a CPU from Intel or AMD, they have a K series for Intel, meaning that it's unlocked. But as far as I remember, like the AMD CPUs, when you buy it, it's already unlocked, as far as I remember. So I do like that. And, we'll see what else Intel does because they're really bringing out some great processors now to keep up and also beat AMD. Well, the older AMD processors, but now AMD is about to come up with some new ones. And so at least now, honestly, for what most people need, I don't think it's a big difference. Okay. And also AMD, they're still cheaper. Okay. If I went to go buy an AMD laptop versus an Intel laptop or AMD, computer versus Intel, the AMDs is still going to be less expensive. Okay. And just looking at the performance of these machines, they're incredible. So yeah, I don't know. That's a long-winded answer, Gerald, but AMD for those reasons. So Kitsune asks, I don't see this trend going away soon with everything turning to web apps. Even stuff like Slack and Discord desktop apps are just decorated Chromium browsers. Yeah, Kitsune, for sure. Yeah, my brother, he's a software programmer, and now he's a software architect. He does a lot of web programming, and even though things are getting better, more and more of these web programs, they're very sophisticated, and they're requiring even more processing out of your computer. Even though some of these web apps are running off of servers, it still takes more processing RAM than you would think. Yeah, and in the future, and we're already seeing this anyway, we might not have native apps anymore. Everything's going to be completely web app based, which is already is anyway. But if you think about Chrome OS, that's really where I think everything's going to be heading. In terms of operating systems and stuff. Windows is going to go that way, Apple, Mac, because that way the companies, if I had to think about it from a business standpoint, these companies have way more control whenever they could have everything on their side. And then from a technical manageability, upgradability, maintenance standpoints, it's a lot easier that way as well, to where everything, the applications, updates, security, all of it's handled on the company side, the server side, wherever they're producing it. And your web browser is just basically a browser into the application. It's like basically into their virtual machine. Okay. So yeah, yep, definitely agree with you. Gerald, yep, I'm feeling the same. Kitsune said if I was getting a new PC, I'm trying to go all AMD. Yeah, Kitsune, I've loved AMD for a long time. This computer I have is Intel, but I've been using AMD processors for a long time, ever since the AMD Duo and Athlon, you know, I've always been a fan of AMD. I just like overall how they do things. And now that we're getting, you know, a lot better performance for these past few years from AMD, it's really awesome. So my C Prince saying about older games, Riven Mist 2 is one that needs a proper operating system, not a VM. All the fixes don't complete rig. Have you played Mist or Riven Exile? Well, it's been a long time at C Prince. I'd say I played Mist a long time ago. Riven, I think I've tried it. I don't remember. I never tried Exile. I don't really play, and I know Mist is not a new game, but I don't play very many modern games, even though I do have access to Steam. I just really love playing old retro games, you know, like kind of what you're seeing back here. You know, retro games is my favorite. I love playing them, you know, and so hopefully that answers that. And so, yeah, so I'm gonna keep this chat open for about 5 more minutes. If y'all had any other questions. And so these Q&A times, it's really fun whenever I do have people on chat, because we just get to talk about whatever. Most of the time it's geeky stuff, you know? And so for anybody who's been on my older live streams, they'll kind of be used to it. So okay, so Kitsune is saying, I'm the opposite, grew up with Intel, but with Ryzen, I'm definitely interested. Yeah, Gerald says Donkey Kong rules. Absolutely. And so one of the things that I would like to do whenever I do my upgrade to my machine, very similar to the last long time ago when I did my Linux PC build or my PC build at that time, that was like in 2016. So what I'll do is I'll leave that on the chat because it's been a very long time since I've done a PC build or anything like that. And I'm surprised that my machine, well, I'm surprised but not surprised, because my brother picked some really powerful components and they've lasted a really long time. So I'm gonna leave this for anybody who is watching this channel, they're interested. They could check this out. Let me see. Wow. And YouTube has definitely changed things because my playlist doesn't show up. Well, I can't share that because now everything's just, oh, there it is. I'm sorry. All right, so for anybody who's interested, I'll leave this on the chat, okay? Linux PC build for anybody who wants to see that. So if you're watching this later, crap, there you go. Okay, all right, yeah, okay. My C Prince say Miss is 1993, Ribbon 1997. Yeah. So Kitsune saying I enjoy the geeky Q&As. Yeah, I do too, Kitsune. And Gerald says, you got a beast. Yeah, at the time, 2016, that was a beast of machine. It's still a beast for me today. I mean, besides the video editing and some modern games, I mean, I still do all my video editing that I need on here. It's just that if I need to do more complex projects or, you know, 4K and also rendering, you know, the hardware, it's definitely needs to upgrade at that point, okay? Especially now where, you know, I'm learning how to do more complex projects. It just takes a lot longer and to render. And also whenever I'm working with projects, you know, if you don't have a powerful machine, you know, a great CPU, great GPU, and a lot of RAM, it does slow down your workflow, even if you're using stuff like proxies and stuff. So, okay, so Anthony saying thank you for your live stream. All right, thank you so much. And so I'm gonna go ahead and end off this live stream. I first want to say thank you to the people who joined the chat. I know the time that you had today, you could have been spending it doing something else. Your time is very valuable, and so I really want to appreciate for spending your valuable time here today, watching this chat, leaving your thoughts and ideas. I'm always highly appreciative of it. And then I also want to thank anybody who actually watches this stream later on. If you did get value out of these videos, you know, be sure to leave your thoughts, comments, you know, and obviously leave a like and subscribe. Help support the channel that way. And if you actually had any other thoughts, you know where to leave them. And have a great day, and we'll see you on another video.